Welcome to It's Happening in Grand Prairie. I'm Georgia Clemson, and I'm so glad to have you today to view our show. And we're in a very unusual circumstance today. We're here safe and sound, sheltering in at home, and we are socially distancing from Terry Briggs and Amy Sprinkles. So we're all safe and so glad to be able to come to you today from our home and let you know, even though it's different today, we still have very important things happening in Grand Prairie. Today, our first guest is a very important person in the city of Grand Prairie every day, but especially today. Chief Robert Veit with the Grand Prairie Fire Department is our first guest. And we know that he has a routine that he normally has everyone go through, but it's different today. So we would like to know how Chief Veit is providing services for us differently today. Chief Veit, would you tell us?
That's a good question. We made two changes to our operational procedures. The first change is we put a paramedic in our dispatch center who received a little special training on COVID and about our response. And that paramedic in dispatch gets on the 911 call and actually talks to the caller and tries to help give them information on this virus. And we also try to filter that call in dispatch to figure out the best resource that needs to be sent, if a resource even needs to be sent. Because we have people that call us that want us to test them for the virus, and obviously we don't do that in the back of an ambulance. So we're providing them more information, and sometimes we haven't even sent an ambulance to some of these 911 calls. So that's been the main change, is we have helped educate the caller on this virus using our paramedic. Second thing we've changed is we have two paramedics in our utility van that when a 911 call is needed and a response is needed related to the virus, the two paramedics in that van go to the house and try to gain information, recon, and determine if an ambulance is needed. This has been very successful, as we've really prevented our ambulance and our fire engines from being exposed, not to patients who necessarily don't need a 911 response, but definitely need a paramedic just to check them out. So those are the two main things we've done.
Thank you, Chief. And we know we're very interested in the safety of our firefighters and paramedics. So what are we doing specifically to protect them at this time?
Yeah, so typically on a normal call, we always wear our gloves and sometimes eye protection. And that has changed radically with our department. So on every call, whether it's a car wreck, someone who's fallen from a ladder, or someone who have a complaint related to the virus, we are now wearing full personal protective equipment, which is, you hear the word PPE. Our firefighters are walking into that home wearing the gown, the mask, the eye protection, and the gloves. It's almost like they're going into surgery. They truly look like a surgical technician, but that is a change we've made to keep our people safe, is we just don't know what we're walking into. And even though the paramedic and dispatches help screen it, a lot of times they're still an unknown.
Chief, I've heard that local companies have been very generous to make donations. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, the main one in Grand Prairie that's really helped us out is Cardinal Health. They donated quite a bit of personal protective equipment. One thing in Grand Prairie that we have here is an emergency management team. And that team has been able to ascertain different PPE from the county, from the state, and just from other sources around the state. So besides Cardinal Health, our own internal emergency management has really been vital to getting us equipment.
Chief, we know everything has changed. So tell us how life at the fire station has changed.
Yeah, so this one is a difficult one. You got to understand, the fire station life is family life. And a fire station is where we live, we eat, we sleep, we train, it's a lot different than a place of business. So our firefighters have had to adjust their own distancing with each other because you never know where that firefighter in his off-duty time, what's happened. We also have closed all fire stations to outside visitors. And for that to happen, you got to understand that a fire station is a welcoming place. It's a place we love to show our equipment. The kids want to come get pictures with our firefighters. It is typically open doors 24/7, but right now, during this virus, we have it as closed, and we're not letting anybody in from the outside just because one exposure to a fire station could literally shut it down. We can't have that happen.
Give us some information on when a resident really should call 911.
Yeah, 911, as great as it is, it's also become a source of information for our citizens. And they call 911 for not wanting help, but wanting information a lot of times. So the paramedic and dispatch, again, is there to help if you have questions. But what 911 really, what we can't do is we can't come take a temperature, we can't come test for the virus. Really, the purpose of 911 is if you're having an emergent medical emergency, trouble breathing, chest pain, severe headache, unconscious, dizziness, all of those things that you think you need emergent care is really, especially now during this time, is when you should call 911.
Thank you so much, Chief. We appreciate you, and God bless you all.
Well, Georgia, you've had me on this show many times. It's always a pleasure. Thank you again for having me. And just one final message to everyone watching out there: stay home and stay safe.
And our next guest is Dwayne Strong with Parks and Recs of Grand Prairie, Texas. And he is the newly named director. And we've not had him on the show as director, so we're so glad to have him today. And I know everyone wants to know about your plans for the future and what some of your goals are in your new role.
Well, so far, I think I'd like a do-over. I started right at the very 1st of March, and of course, we jumped right into the COVID meetings and then right into the Friday the 13th when everything just blew apart. So it's not been a good stint. Some of the goals that I wanted to accomplish is I wanted, and I guess I have accomplished some of those, because I wanted 2020 to be a very unique year for the Parks Department. And unfortunately, it's turned off that way. Within, overnight, we had closed everything that we'd worked for 16 years to open and get, vibrant, and we shut it down. So 2020 has been kind of rough to start off as the director of parks. The next one, the next goal that I want to do is have a kind of an all parks pep rally, because we wanted to give Cheryl a warm send across the street, but we also wanted to get everybody fired up and give some comments from the director to kind of get the ball rolling. And of course, you can't put anybody together now, so we're just kind of having to put all those kind of cool things on hold.
Dwayne, under the current circumstances, how are you reaching out to residents to keep them engaged?
Well, there's a couple of things. Our websites, all our web pages are up to date, so we're pushing everybody to those. We're doing email blast, keeping everybody engaged. But the rec centers are also doing a lot of virtual programming. We've got virtual Easter egg hunts. We've got virtual hunts around the city. And programming, there's culinary, and so each rec center is doing something on, every day somebody does something new. We're doing a lot of Facebook Live, and just keeping on Facebook, and we're trying to keep all the social media is about the best way we can keep everybody involved.
Now, what are the rules for people getting out into the parks today?
If you do go, the trails are very wide, so we encourage people to go ride your bicycle, walk. But the rules is stay 6 feet away, and there's lots of signs in our parks that say social distancing. We've spray painted some stencils on the concrete that says stay 6 feet away, and so we want you. This time of year it's gorgeous. We've got fantastic trails. We're just asking everybody to stay close to home, because with all of our area restrooms closed. You need to utilize your neighborhood park so you're close to home.
Now, Dwayne, what does 2020 for the rest of the year look like for parks?
Well, since we've been closed, the staff has been going through a lot of different scenarios on if and when we get to open and to what degree we get to open. What plans are we going to put in place? And so some things were easy, like RJC. They went ahead and moved a lot of their weddings to the fall. A lot of the shows, the preceding series at the Uptown, was pushed to the fall also. We canceled a lot of events. Main Street Fest, Memorial Day is going to be huge because we can't have Memorial Day as normal because that's the clientele who's at risk. And so we're trying to we're coming up with some good ways that could be a virtual. We're still going to do it because Memorial Day is very important to us. So we're looking at all of our events and what can we do and how can we do it? How can we still serve our public and keep everybody engaged and safe?
Thank you so much, Dwayne. You've been such a blessing to the city of Grand Prairie, and we're looking forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
And now we welcome Patty Brock, Executive Director of Grand Prairie United Charities. Welcome, Patty.
Georgia, thank you so much for letting us talk with you and letting Grand Prairie know how we can assist.
Patty, what services are you offering our citizens during the pandemic, and how are you offering them?
We are still open for business. We've been doing this since 1955, and that hasn't changed. And now, more than ever in this crisis, we need to help people in Grand Prairie. We're limiting the number of people we're allowing in the bidding, so everyone is safe, healthy, sprayed with disinfectant. The lobby has our chairs very spread out, so we're keeping up with that social distancing. But we're still here providing food and financial services for Grand Prairie residents.
And what does a resident need to qualify for assistance?
So all of our services are provided to residents of Grand Prairie. So they have to have an ID showing that they reside in Grand Prairie. For our food pantry, that's all they need. There's a little bit of paperwork to fill out, and they can access that every 30 days. For financial services, there is a little more entailed, more paperwork, more background information, and they have to meet the low income standards as set out by the county in order to get financial services.
How are you operating differently?
We are taking some precautions in the amount of people we have in the office. For the food pantry, we spray their hands with disinfectant, they fill out the paperwork, then they get in their car and we're able to take their groceries to the car so they don't have to come in the building. For finances, they do have to come in. Again, their hands are sprayed with disinfectant. They are interviewed and the paperwork is received by an employee who's masked and gloved. Then every day we disinfect all the paperwork, all the pens, all the clipboards before we use them again.
Patty, I know there are many ways that people can help, but we need to know. Tell us specifically how people can help.
We can always use food donations. Non-perishable food is the best so that we can give that out every 30 days. We always will take monetary donations. We're not able to fundraise right now, but lots of people are needing help with their rent and their utilities, so that takes money to do. I think that a lot of people in this time want to volunteer. They want to feel like they're actually doing something. We have a safe, clean environment. If people want to come and volunteer for as many or as few hours as they want on a weekly basis, we'll be glad to have them. I also want to say some thank you to our community, all the people that have helped. It's just been incredible. We will get 2 or 3 people a day dropping off food donations, which is awesome. I can't say enough about the city either. With their facilities closed, they have been able to provide some employees to volunteer in my food pantry. My food pantry is regularly staffed with retirees. And so they're in that high risk category, so they have to stay home. If it wasn't for these city employees, we wouldn't be able to open the food pantry and do what we're doing. And the people have been great workers, great people. We've enjoyed having them and enjoyed getting to know them. And then we've had a lot of partners in the community offer help. It's just been unbelievable. St. Vincent de Paul's food banks are closed, so they're bringing their food that they get donated to us. Vivian Vance did an online Facebook fundraiser that included not only just a food donation, but $3,500 to help. Grand Prairie Rotary Club was able to give me the gloves that they're not using in our dental sealant program so that I can glove up all our employees and keep them safe. And then there's just a myriad of partners, the Nicholas Foundation, TXU, United Way through North Texas Cares gave us a big donation, Arlington Board of Realtors, the Hershaw Living Trust, and then just several people who mailed checks in, monetary checks in. So we appreciate everything the city and the community is doing and look forward to providing those services as we go through this.
Patty, remind us of your location and your hours.
We are located at 1417 Dinsman, which is at Skyline and 14th Street. We're open to the public Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 9 to 1. We are here the rest of the time, usually from 8 to 4 if anybody has any donations they want to drop off. Thank you, Georgia.
I want to say thank you especially to all of our guests and for each of you for watching today. I hope this has been helpful and it has been a pleasure to be with you. And may God bless you. And I'm Georgia Clemson reminding you that it's happening in Grand Prairie.